What's up, guys, and welcome back to Austin's Automotive. Today we're continuing on the El Camino. We're working on shaving the door handles and changing up the grill. Now we are going to take a look at the front end again. So I've done a little bit of work to the front end already. We have narrowed the bumpers, flushed them up with the sides here. There was also the original grill come down and went under here. I deleted all that. Then we tucked the bumper back quite a bit. I'm not for sure how much. I don't remember how much, but it's quite a bit, you know, compared to factory. And then we did a tube grill in the front, which I personally like the look of. The only thing I don't like is that it still needs a lot of body work, and in the end it's going to be painted, and I would like a little bit of shiny. Chrome's always better. So this is where we're going. So I originally started out with a GMC grill, like 94 to I think 96. I've had a couple of those pickups and I like the billet grill inserts in them, and I thought, man, that'd fit good in there. But when I got it, it just wasn't wide enough. It was I knew it was going to be too tall, but it just wasn't wide enough at all. So I kind of looked around on the old Amazon and kind of thinking of some other vehicles I put grills in that were a little bit wider, and so I come up with this kit, and it's 2007 to 13 Chevy pickup, you know, 1500, 2500. Anyways, two perks to this grill. One, it's plenty wide enough, and two, it was only 40 bucks. Took me a couple days to get, so that was the best part. All right, so I was originally thinking this here would be big enough, and it is wide enough, but the height, I just don't know that I want to shrink the grill down that much. I really like the grill opening that we have, and I don't know that I want to shrink that up. I don't think it'd look too bad, you know, if I put a wider filler on the bottom, but just not what I want to do. So I was originally thinking maybe, you know, I could add one of these to this, but when you get them up next to each other, they're not 100% the same. They're pretty darn close, and if I counted the number of ribs correctly, I believe we can just eliminate this rib and this rib, join these two together, and we're going to end up the perfect height. And then we will just trim the edges, and I plan on filling this in here with some sheet metal, and then we'll just have the front grill opening with the stainless steel grill insert. So that's the plan on the front. Try to make it look a little better. I'm struggling with the front end of these cars, but I'm really liking the way this one's coming together, and I think a shiny grill in the front will really help it out. So let's get to it. All right, we're gonna get started by getting this one cut out. All right, so we got that all cleaned up. Got both sides cleaned up. So if any of you guys were wondering on this, how I said I filled this in, so originally this come down, there was a couple inch gap. I just put in a piece of sheet metal there, broke it at a 90, welded it here to the bumper, and welded it up here. And then this is just, like I say, 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch tubing. It's 1/2 inch tubing there. And that's just around, and you can kind of see it's just cut and bent, and another piece is welded there. Same thing on the bottom, just kind of cut. Pretty simple design. Kind of cleans up the opening. So now we will try to see if we can't get an insert tall enough, and we'll see if we can't get it mounted in there. All right, so we got the grill laid out here. So like I say, I think this is the plan here. So we got 2, 4, 6, 7 ribs here. And if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got another rib if we connect these together. The other benefit is he's got some cross bracing here. And on these two grills, all the cross bracing matches up. And on this grill, it is different. The cross bracing's here, one's here, one's here, one's here, one's here, one's over here. So yeah, we're not going to use this one. We'll save this for a later project. So I'm sure there'll be something. That's just our hardware. We don't need that. So they've got these pretty simple setup, just some straps, little rivets here. We're just going to drill those pop rivets out and do the same on this one. Hopefully we can connect them back together with pop rivets again. Okay, so we got this all taken apart. We're going to grind these bottom rivets off like we did these, but we're going to leave the rivet in there. We're going to set that on top and we're going to weld it to it. And then we'll just come back and we'll repaint these back black. But that will stagger the grill, you know, back just a little bit like that. Obviously not that dramatic, just a little bit. That's okay though, because the front of our car has a little bit of a stagger back. So I think it'll work out just fine, and we're only talking, you know, the thickness of that bracket, which is, you know, not hardly anything at all. Less than an 1/8 inch, you know, so don't think we're gonna notice it unless I told y'all. So let's do it. so this is about the best way I figured out to take it off. Just take the end of this cutoff wheel, not pushing down too hard. That is taking that off pretty quick. Alright, looks like it's going to work. So my thought is if we just line that hole up with the other rivet, then our spacing should be the same. Alright, turned out pretty good. Got it welded together. Looks good. It's got just that tiny bit of taper. I don't know if y'all can see it. Just one layer back, but it's okay. It's the way we wanted it. So, let's see how she fits. Alright. I like it. I think it'll work. Too wide, obviously. Looks like we need to cut it off right after that brace on both sides. And we'll see if we can't figure out some way to get her mounted in there. So let's narrow it up and then figure out how we're going to secure it in there. Alright, so that looks better. Pretty happy with that right there. Alright, so we got to get this mounted in the opening. I don't want to make this any more difficult than it's got to be. There's some little holes on the back side of these brackets. I think we can utilize those to remount it. So as I said, I want to cover this section in. So I'm thinking before we do that, that's going to sit in there about like so, set back just a little bit. So just put in a piece of this round rod right here and weld her in. And we can weld a stud off of that going into her grill there through that hole. And bolt that, and it'll also double purpose, put a little bit of shape into it, and that can work as our grill opening face. So yeah, let's do that. Let's cut a little piece of this. So I don't know, cut it about that long. All right, and I just want to put a little bit of curve in this. I think it'll look a little better with a little bit of a curved grill opening instead of just a straight. Okay, let me cut 2 of these and make them both at the same time. That way we kind of got our grill opening, and we got 2 of the same, both sides. Okay, I don't know if I'm in love with it, so let's see how it's gonna look. Alright, what do we think? Got it taped up? Be honest, first thoughts, I'm not loving it. I like the grill in there, I just don't know if I like the rounded sides. That's why we mock her up. Alright, so I made a new piece. Kinda looked around at the rest of the car, you know, and everything is pretty straight, curved, you know, straight, curved. That's kind of the way the whole car, you know, is. So took that into consideration on the grill, and we got straight, little curve, little curve. So I think that that's what we're gonna go with. I think it looks a lot better than the original curved design. So I think that is what we're gonna shoot for. So when we're doing that, we're putting that round rod on the back side. Right here is the round rod. So right there is our mounting holes. So I think we just come off before we sheet metal the outside. The green tape would be the sheet metal. Before we do that, we come off with a tab, bolt on the grill there on both sides. We can do that, and the grill will be mounted, and then we'll sheet metal all that in. So let's get to it. So that there's the piece I made. Let's make another one. All right, I'd say that's good. Okay, so I just centered the bumper and this hood body line right with the center of the grill. That's where I want it to be. So we need to make that difficult. And then we've got our mounts there and there. So I'm going to run our round rod there. Okay, so we're the same on both sides. We know where we need to be. Right in there. Straight up and down. So, we're going to run the straight part here with the line and the line, and that should be perfect. Now we want to come straight off. Needs to be in just a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but that looks pretty good to me. We're running right along with our square, so easy to mimic on the other side. Alright, so that's our grill opening. Let's get this back in here. Alright, so I knew this was going to be an issue sooner or later, was getting the grill in and out. I was hoping it wouldn't be this big of an issue, but we are going to have to figure it out. So I'm sliding it through where it won't be able to go through. So it is going to be an issue. Well, for now, that is the look. And let me turn you guys. Here we go. You can see we are right next to our bolt hole. We'll just come off with a little tab. And there we go. So, alright, next day. So, got a little late yesterday and I had to run into the hardware store and get some bolts and washers. So I'll kind of show you what I got going on here. So I just got a 1/4 inch bolt. I slipped a 5/16 washer on, then a nut, washer, and nut. So got some studs going off here. That way we can slip this in and just weld those washers straight to our round rod and then weld our bolt to the washer. We've got a stud, so we can just go on the inside, remove our grill. These other nuts here adjust our depth of our grill, and then we can leave it adjustable or weld it however we want. But our grill will be removable, and then we can sheet this. So just makes it a little easier to mount it before we sheet all this, you know. All right, let's see if we can't get to it. See what you guys think. Just barely got it tagged, but I think just by eye, that is perfect. And I'm gonna call it perfect and nail it there. So you can kind of see up close. That's how I've got her set up, and then now that one might be just a little shy, but we can weld them in there. So will work. We can put a little filler on that one, no biggie. Alright, so you can see these studs are pretty simple. Just welded onto that round rod, the washer, and then you've got your adjustable grill here. I've got it adjusted back quite a ways so we can come forward a lot, which I like it back in there. We'll see how it looks once we get these sides sheeted in, but that is the setup. So works out pretty good. That'll be our grill opening. You won't see any of this. You can get to this from the back side. So let's fill the sides in. All right. So just need a simple corner like so. Look at that. Perfect. That will work. Let's make one for the other side. All right, so I got a couple patterns made. Get her cut out. Okay, so we got a pattern made and a piece of metal. So we kind of shape the pattern here so we know where to bend it. I'll put a little bend in this just by hand. All right, check it out, guys. Got it all welded in, and I think it looks freaking awesome. It looks so good. Definitely what the front end needed. Let me know what you guys think, but I am in love. I think it looks so much better. Time we get that body worked in. Get that surround painted. That's gonna look really good. So I'd say very pleased with that. The front end looks so much better. I really don't think there's much else we need to do up here. Turned out really nice. So let's move on to the doors. Let's see if we can't get rid of these door handles and locks. All right, let's get into these door handles. So we're gonna be getting rid of the handle and the lock out here, flushing it up. On the inside, we've just got a couple 7/16 nuts there. We've got the clip here for the handle rod. The lock. We've got that big C-clip there, and it simply slips out and everything's apart. But before we take it apart, this is how our handle mech works. It just simply needs to push that bracket down and that unlatches our door. So we're going to see if we can't get some kind of electronic actuator to pull that down. So let's get it apart. Alright, so here's our door lock actuators we're planning on using to hopefully open and close our doors. A friend of mine gave me a whole box of these, cleaning out his garage, and actually, ironically, when I was getting the El Camino out of storage, he kind of caught me and I told him what we were doing to this, and he reminded me of those, and kind of got me thinking, heck, it's kind of what inspired doing this. So yeah, so these were freebies. Thanks, Dwayne. Appreciate that. So this is what I ended up making. Is a pigtail for this. Found one, hopefully, but the parts stores, I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, it's like 30 bucks, and so I just decided, heck with that. We'll just wire our own. So I'm gonna do that here in front of your very eyes, show you what's going on. Alright, so we got that off there. Just got a strip of wire here, a couple ends. I'm going to heat shrink them, so I don't want these little blue covers on there, so just knock this one off. I'll knock this one off, crimp them on there. Okay, so I just kind of folded those over to get a little more clearance. As you can see, those are nice and soldered, really good. And this heat shrink has glue on the inside of it, so I'd say double insurance. It's definitely not going anywhere. Okay, and you can see that glue just ooze out of there, so that locks that in even better. And seals are up. So, good to go. Make a little pigtail here for it so nothing gets caught up in the window. Just like that. Ready to install. Alright, so we're working in tight quarters here. Try not to mess you guys up, but I'm thinking I can hopefully mount this right down here. Hopefully you can see that I got a pretty good flat spot here. And luckily this lock actuator already has a bracket on it. So I'm thinking maybe I can just slide that on right there. And then it had some of these rods. So maybe we connect that on, try to come up and have that lock actuator, you know, pull down on that lever. I think it'll work. Let's see if we can't get something fabbed up here. All right, check it out, guys. How sweet is that? Check that out. Nice. All right, let's see what I did. Okay, so you can see that top rod on the top of the handle that was going up. I flipped it around, now it's pulling down. Cut it off and just got a piece of straight round rod that I had. Run it down and cut this other piece off and welded it to it. Pretty simple. As for mounting it, you can see got a couple bolts on the outside. Got our harness here. You can run that around. And as you can see, it works good. Okay, we're back. So we got both sides all finished up. Now it's time to get them wired. So I got on Amazon, picked up a couple momentary switches to activate our door actuators. And we're not gonna have door locks. So my idea for door locks is just to kill the power to the momentary switch. And we'll put this in a good spot so it's discreet, and that way you'll have door locks. So let's get these put in. All right, so you just got to get one side power, one side's ground. Figure out which way. Lucky guess. All right. So that one's our ground, so I'm thinking we'll just run that up to that bolt there. Okay, so this is no power in this car, so we got to run a harness all the way through. I'm just going to use some 14 gauge and just pick some paint because it's bright. I'm not going to run it through the door yet because we still got a bodywork and paint, but I am going to go ahead and run the harness, and then when we get done painting we'll throw it in. That way it'll be done. So I'm going to run some quick connect here. That way we can, oh man. Quick connect, that way we can get these back apart, take it apart later and put that harness in, so it works out good. I think we're just going to stab these guys back here inside the box. Pretty comfortable to reach and get to. Discreet. I don't think you'll see it much down here. So, and I can get through from the inside. I can get to the back side of this. So, let's see what we can't do. Perfect. It's discreet. Fits. I like it. Okay, let's make a little harness for that. Okay, so we got a couple harnesses now. Let's go put them in. Okay, so you can see that there. Got her in. Check it out, guys. Look at that. Now that's fancy. It didn't cost us hardly anything. A little bit of time. Nice. Alright, so our wiring, we got her grounded out here. And we've got our power going. We will run that nice to the door. And again, we will get this knockout here put in, get the rubber in there, run our wire through there. Down through here when we're finished. We've got our grommet in there. So, I'm not gonna finish any of this up yet because I gotta take all this back out so we can get it painted. But I just kind of twisted her up so you guys could see how it was working. Got that one going there. Then we've got power going to the other side of our momentary switch. That power goes straight up to our kill switch for our lock. So I'm going to put this in a discrete location, but works out pretty good. So as you can see, nothing. Look at that. Perfect. All right, I think that's where we're gonna call it for today. Really appreciate everybody watching and following along. And all your kind words you guys have had, support, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know, this has been a fun project. I know we kind of got in the midst of it. I wish we could have got all of this project on video. But, you know, we've really turned this thing around, and I feel like you know, without spending a whole bunch of money. You know, the front bumper was the stock one. We just narrowed and trimmed it, just took a little time. You know, the grill wasn't a real big expense. You know, these sheet metal patches, that doesn't cost a lot. Our doors, you know, we scored on some door actuators, but you know, you could go to your local pull and pick and get some out of a car there. Surely they would be pretty inexpensive. Yeah, that's where we got our seats. That's even where, I never mentioned it, that's where we got our taillights too. There was a 4-door Nova in there, and they were gonna, you know, they crushed those anyways, so there was no saving the car. So I cut this section out with the taillights in it, and that's how I got the taillights. I think they were like 30 or 40 bucks. So you know, this whole project's been pretty reasonable on the old wallet, and we got a pretty good looking car now. Next time we're gonna dive into body work, so we can get her slicked up and get her in some paint and keep moving forward on this project. So come back for that. Really appreciate, like I say, everyone's support, and you know, make sure to subscribe, keep following along so you can keep updated on all this. We'll be on some more cool stuff later. Thanks guys, see ya.